Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is undefeated bantamweight Hunter Starner. Hello, Hunter. How are you?
Good. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Hunter, let's talk about your last fight. It was a fight on CFFC show with Naoki Hirata. So please tell me how many weeks did you have to prepare, and what was circumstances about this fight?
So I had my first pro fight in October, like mid-October, and then after that I won that fight, it was probably that weekend, maybe 2 days later, my coach slash manager, she came with the fight opportunity for CFFC, and we took it, and that was like on 3-week notice, and so I was already in shape, so we took that fight and really just make sure I was good on weight, made sure I was still tuned up, my hands were still good, and so I kind of like taking back-to-back fights because you stay in shape and it's not really a full camp because you already just experienced a fight prior. But yeah, I took that fight and thankfully came out with the decision win.
Yes, and it was kind of crazy because in less than 30 days you had two fights, so it was 30 minutes overall. So the first fight wasn't a like quick finish, so it means that you have a great recovery.
Yeah. Thankfully, that first fight, my first pro fight, I didn't get hurt. And then the second fight, the one for CFFC, thankfully I didn't get hurt on that one. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I like taking the back-to-back fights, especially if I'm healthy. The weight's already down. I'm already in shape, and it just works better.
And do you have right now any fight scheduled?
No fight scheduled right now. I'm trying to hopefully get another CFFC fight. Hopefully May time frame. Nothing's confirmed. I did have a confirmed fight back in March, and that fell through. The other guy backed out, and then we've been trying to get on the April 20th card in Tampa for CFFC, but no one's to fight me right now, so they can't find anybody. And now, hopefully May. We're looking at May. I don't know when exactly CFFC's card is in May, but we're hopefully looking at that. And if nothing happens there, we'll look elsewhere. But definitely May, June time frame. Definitely this summer. I'm looking to do back-to-back fights.
Yes, and you have experience with this, so maybe right now there is a like break in your career, but then it will be like 2 or 3 fights in like 2 or 3 months.
Exactly. I like it that way too. It helps me stay in shape, helps me stay active, and make some money. It's never a bad thing.
And I think that CFFC also is great organization. It's like a regional promotion, but it is shown off on the UFC Fight Pass, so many fans all over the world can watch your fights.
Yeah, I like fighting for CFFC. They kind of expanded. I think originated out of Jersey. They just had a fight in Philly, like a back-to-back card, March 31st and April 1st. They've been doing a lot of fights in Tampa. I really like going down to Tampa and fighting there because who doesn't love Florida? Florida's awesome. Warm weather and yeah, and it's competitive. They got a lot of guys in each weight division. That's why I've been kind of surprised they haven't been able to find me a fight. But I'm just staying ready, being patient. But yeah, I really do like fighting for CFFC. Lot of eyes on it.
And about your last fight, I like this. I like this bout because in the first round you had a little bit of problems. He won the first round, but you like changed your game a little bit and you won second and third round. So it's always good when the fighter can do at first some mistakes, but then he can like won another rounds.
Yeah, that first round, I was landing some clean shots at first. Took a lazy shot. He got on a guillotine. Was able to get out of the guillotine. And right when I got out of the guillotine, he took my back right off of that. So that was a good transition on him. I got like I said, I got a little lazy on that, and once he took my back, I was just really showing the ref, trying to stay active, not trying to be in the defensive position so he could pound on my head, trying to stay out of any submissions. And then he almost caught me with that head and arm submission towards the end of that round. But I think there was about like 10 seconds left, and kind of got saved by the bell there. And then second round dominated him, and then third round was close, but I definitely think I edged him out. I'm pretty sure I got like a takedown at the end of that round. And yeah, judges saw it for me, so that was good.
And it was a very good win for you because Hirata got some experience on Japanese scene. He got some good wins. So even if he's not super experienced, I think that for you, beating him is like a very, very good like reward.
Yeah, Hirata, he, like you said, he had a few fights in Japan. I know his sister is just fought for the title for one championship. So definitely like a good fight family. And I know prior to that fight, he was training with, I believe, at Ray Longo's gym. So that's a really good gym to train at. And so I was expecting good fight and got a good fight. So that was good.
And please tell me about beginning of your journey in overall combat sports.
Yeah, it all starts back to when I was like 5 years old. My dad got me in wrestling. Wrestled every single year, and I think it was about when I hit probably 8th grade. That's when I took it a little more serious. That's when I started doing year-round wrestling with freestyle and Greco during the summer times, and wrestled all through high school. Runner-up at states my senior year. Got an offer for Virginia Military Institute school here in military school here in Virginia. Wrestled all through college, did 5 years of college, started every year. Wrestled 133, wrestled 141 my sophomore year. That's the only year I wrestled at a different weight class. But yeah, it all started with wrestling. And then I would say probably around high school time, that's when I got into MMA. I wasn't real big into it like I'm in now, like I was when I got into college, but that's when I started getting familiar with it. Like, damn, this is pretty cool. And then, yeah, college time was when I was like, yeah, I'm definitely, once I'm done with this wrestling stuff, I'm definitely gonna take a fight, because I don't know, I just thought it'd be cool. And then got my opportunity. Started after I graduated in 2019. I think 2-3 months after that, I found a local gym here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Started training there, and we found me a fight. I started training July. We found me a fight for October, so it wasn't even that long until I had my first fight, got my first fight, and fell in love with it. And so that was pretty much it.
And you had, I believe, 3 amateur titles on the regional scene. So I think that even if you are not super experienced as far as training MMA, as the like undefeated amateur, you almost defeated like by submission everyone.
Yeah, like you said, I ended up getting 3 amateur belts, all like local promotion. 2 of them were local promotions here in Virginia, Renegade Combat Sports and Cagezilla here. And then my third one was up in Pittsburgh, 247 Promotions. And that was my last amateur fight when I got that 3rd belt. And so, yeah, it definitely, the amateur career definitely helped me with experience going into pro, especially in Virginia. We do pro rules here for our amateur fights, so it's everything. So that definitely helps. And yeah, it was good. My amateur career definitely helped me get into CFFC as early as I did, rather than doing local pro promotions for my first like 3 or 4 fights.
And is wrestling still like your favorite part of the training, or you prefer either box or doing BJJ?
No, I prefer like Muay Thai training. I mean, wrestling will always be near and dear to my heart, but I've been doing that since I was 5, and it gets repetitive now. Now, doing MMA, being experienced in all these different like martial arts like BJJ, Muay Thai, boxing. I just prefer Muay Thai. There's more to it, more techniques to it. I got a lot to learn still, and wrestling gets boring. I'm being honest, but it gets boring, and I want to be more than just a wrestler now. I want to be just overall a good fighter. I can strike with my hands when I need to, and I can take a guy down when I need to. But I never just want to be known as just a straight wrestler who will just take a guy to the ground and hold him down. That's a boring fight in my opinion, and I want to be a fun fighter. And to be a fun fighter, it starts on the feet. You want to see knockouts, so that's what I'm trying to do. Hopefully down the line.
And you have 2 or 3 Muay Thai fights, right? In Thailand.
Yeah, I had 2 Muay Thai fights in Thailand, so that was a lot. That was a really good experience.
And where did you train there?
I trained at Tiger Muay Thai in Phuket. I was there for 2 months, so it was really good.
Yes, and Thailand is like the main go-to country to train, either US or Thailand.
Yeah. So I think that year, it was the beginning of the year, we kind of planned for me to go to Thailand, and our first original plan was to go to a few gyms in Thailand and kind of train and see what I liked. But I stuck with Tiger mainly because I got a fight literally like the first week I was there. They found me a Muay Thai fight. And so I was like, I like training here. I started making friends. And if they can give me fights this quick, well, then it's a done deal. And they did. So I was able to get a second fight. And then I just kind of took the rest of the time because at the time I had a fight scheduled for my first pro fight, even though that original fight ended up getting the guy ended up backing out. And then that's when I got the fight for October. But I was scheduled for my very first pro fight to be like end of August. And so that's why I took the rest of the time at Tiger after that second Muay Thai fight to train for that first pro fight that never ended up happening.
And was it hard to fight a Muay Thai fight as the wrestler?
Oh, yeah, it was very different. It was my first time where I just had to rely all on my feet. I knew I couldn't take it to the ground. Definitely as a wrestler, you're kind of hardwired. Once you're getting hurt a little bit, taking some good shots, you're hardwired to just shoot in or the clinch. And I couldn't do that. So it was definitely a wake up call, and it was good because it forced me to stay on my feet, forced me to actually use my striking techniques I've learned not only in Tiger, but since I've been training at my local gym here, Renegade Combat Sports Club. And it helped me be more confident on my feet, and it helped me transition better to these pro fights that I've had, my first 2 pro fights, and help me learn that or show myself that I don't have to rely on my ground. I have pretty good stand-up skills as well.
Yes, it's like addition of new tool in your toolbox, let's say.
Exactly. It just helped me get confidence. That was the main thing.
And what is your plan right now? How many fights do you want to have in 2023?
Man, as many fights as possible to where I stay healthy. I think the summertime I make weight really easily because it's so hot, and I'm already like the highest I get up to is like 150, which is pretty light compared to some other bantamweight guys. But I want to take back-to-back fights. If I'm healthy after I take a fight, if I'm healthy after that fight, I want to take another fight. I want to try to get as many fights as I can, and hopefully one day get the call from one of these big promotions, such as obviously big ones, obviously UFC, WAN, PFL, Bellator, one of the big 4 of those. And but yeah, as many fights as possible 2023. The main problem is just getting guys to fight me right now and getting a good matchup. But yeah, and not just MMA fights, but we also been looking elsewhere, like bare knuckle, so BKFC. So that I've went to my first BKFC event. I was just in New Mexico probably a month and a half ago. I was training at Jackson Wink. Went to this BKFC event, and I fell in love with it. I was like, this is awesome. It was so fun. There wasn't one boring fight. So after that, I messaged my coach / manager, Michelle, who makes all my matchups. And I said, I want to be on one of these. So yeah, we're looking elsewhere. BKFC, hopefully down the line. This summer would be awesome for a BKFC fight, but yeah, as many fights as possible, as many fights as I can stay healthy, because I know I don't have forever to do this, so I want to do it while I'm healthy and young and feel good.
And do you see your future in bantamweight division or like featherweight? Because I believe that you have on the amateur scene one fight as the featherweight.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna stay bantamweight. That featherweight fight, that was my first amateur fight, was scheduled for bantamweight, and then the guy backed out like the day of, and so they had to find me a replacement. And I fought a guy who was like 160 pounds, and ended up beating him. And then the second fight, I don't know why that fight ended up being a featherweight fight, but I really didn't even have to cut weight for that fight. At the time, I walked around at like 145, right on the dot, and so that was easy for a weight cut. And now I'm walking around at 148, 150, and to me, that it's still a pretty easy cut. I mean, I'm lean, but I mean, when I get down to about 140, the last 5 pounds always suck. But I don't walk around at like 165, 170 like these guys. They have to take these fights on like a month to 2 months notice. Whereas me, I can take fights on 2 weeks, I'll even give it a week notice, and I can make weight fine. And I'm training every day, so definitely I'm gonna stay bantamweight till it's all said and done.
And overall, what do you think about bantamweight division? Because in my opinion, this is right now the best division in all of MMA.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, if you look at like the big dog UFC, that is I know I'm biased, but that is the best division. If you're looking from the champion to the number 15th ranked guy, really any of those guys can beat each other on any given night. I mean, it's so competitive. I think it was either like a year or two ago, you had like 3 champions in that division, and even in kind of like I like to call like the like semi-pro circuit, CFFC, LFA, like that's 135 still the most competitive. I feel like it has the most guys, because you get guys coming up from flyweight who get a little too big for that weight class, and you have guys who aren't as big for featherweight or want to cut back or cut more weight to bantamweight, and you get a lot of those guys. So it's the most stacked division, I think, in the country, or in, like you said, the whole world of MMA, and it's definitely the toughest. Might not be the funnest fights to watch, but like it has the toughest guys and toughest fights.
And who do you think will win on May show, Sterling or Cejudo?
Oh man, that's hard to say, because part of me, when I first heard that fight, I wanted to just say Cejudo right off the bat. But I've been watching Aljamain Sterling's like YouTube channel through his training stuff and how he trains, and I think people sleep on him. He's so good. If he takes your back, the fight's over. And I think Cejudo, you can say he has maybe the ground advantage, but I don't know. It's tough. When it comes to MMA, it's different. It's different MMA wrestling. Plus, Cejudo's been out for a really long time. I still probably right now give the edge to Cejudo, but I would not be surprised if Aljamain Sterling came out to win.
Yes, and Sterling is very underappreciated champion. Many people don't like him, but I think that he is a great fighter. He won with the rematch with Jan, then he defeated Dillashaw. So I think that right now he's like the number one. But like you said, it's like in next month anybody can be a champion, because the bantamweight division is so stacked.
Yeah, exactly. Like you were just saying, Sterling's super like underappreciated. It's his personality. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't really like him for his personality, but I respect him as a fighter. He's a great fighter. I remember after he like got worked by Jan and they were doing that, those press conferences up to the second fight with him and Peter Yan, he had said, even though you won't like me, you will respect me after this fight. And he was totally right, because after that fight, I totally respected him. He made everyone eat their words, and he's a super underrated fighter still, even as a champion, and especially with the fight with just TJ Dillashaw, since TJ Dillashaw like popped his shoulder out, so people were even making excuses. Oh, TJ didn't win because he popped his shoulder out. Well, how do you think he popped his shoulder out? Aljamain Sterling did that, and so he's super unappreciated. And I wouldn't be surprised if he beats Cejudo, pulled off a crazy win like that.
And do you have a dream opponent in mind, the guy that you would like to face in your career?
Dream opponent, man. If I were to go into the UFC right then and there, I think my dream opponent would probably be Sean O'Malley. Well, from what he has the clout behind him, and I think I know a lot of people don't like him as well, but he's grown on me, and I don't know, someone like him I think would just be a fun fight. That's a dream fight for sure. If it was today where somehow I got into UFC today, I would choose Sean O'Malley as a dream fight. That'd be cool.
Yes, and many people don't like him because he's confident. He's like he talks a lot, and then many people don't like him. But overall, like his skills, he's also on the top, like top 5, top 3. He even defeated Jan, former champion.
Yeah, I think he's a great fighter. I didn't like him at first because what you just said. I thought he was just cocky, and I didn't think he was as good as he was. But then when he beat Jan, even though that was a super razor close decision, we'd watch that fight, and it can go either way. I think one day judges will score for Jan, but on that day the judges scored it for Sean O'Malley. And I think his ground's pretty underrated because even though he's like this skinny, lean, really tall fighter, I can tell he's really strong. He's really strong, has that really lengthy, weird strength that I know from wrestling. Long, lengthy dudes, they have that weird strength, that weird tensile strength. And that's what he has. And he's super slick in his striking. So he's definitely grown on me the past year. I do like him a lot.
And what do you think is like your best skill and the thing that you need to improve still?
My best skill would probably be, I really like my left leg kick. I like going to the body with my power kick, right to the liver. Since I'm southpaw, most guys I fight are conventional, so I like setting up my leg kick to the liver or to the leg. And I like my front leg kick as well. I don't usually go to the body with that. I usually go right at that front leg, try to take that leg out. My kicks, especially in Thailand, have got a lot better over there. But I would say that's one of my best weapons, is setting up my back leg kick, either to one of his legs or to the body or to the head. We've been working on head kicks a lot, just getting that flexibility down. I would say that's just fighting skills. In terms of just what I think I'm best at is just, I don't know, having the will, having the toughness, having the discipline, really having the mental edge over people I fight. Because I know if it gets dirty, and if I need to, I could just bite down my mouthpiece, take some serious shots, and give it right back if I need to. So I think it's my will and my heart. I think that's my best skill. But things I need to work on. I'll always say this, but I still need to work on my hands. I mean, they're getting there, but I see these high level guys like in UFC, and I'm like, man, I want to be like that. Have that crisp striking, clean, the head movement with the striking. So that's always going to be a continuous thing that I'm working on and want to work on more. And definitely my submission game and my like on the ground, need to work on that more. And yeah, that's all I can think of right now.
Yes, and it is quite interesting because from seven of your amateur wins, you have six submissions.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. Yeah, those were just I know a couple of those were Darce chokes, one rear naked. One of my favorite submissions, the head and arm choke or the arm triangle. And again, that's like a wrestling position. Like you throw a guy, you end up with his head and arm. And so it's kind of like second nature for a wrestler, just kind of locking that up, squeezing as hard as you can, and putting the guy to sleep. And same with the Darce, because that's kind of like a front headlock position. So you kind of like dump a guy over and get that Darce position with the head and arm in. And so, yeah, but I don't know, kind of like in terms of like the BJJ stuff, kind of like learning how to like when I see something, learning to transition better into a submission rather than just holding the guy down. And yeah, being able to look for submissions better than I do now, stuff like that.
And what do you like to accomplish in MMA? Let's say that in 10 or 15 years you ended your career, and what do you like to accomplish in this time? Be a UFC champion, Bellator champion, being in the rankings?
I would say definitely get into one of those big promotions. Doesn't have to be the UFC, like everyone says the UFC, but I think Bellator 1, especially 1, and PFL, they're getting up there. Give it a few years, and one of those three promotions is going to be just as big as the UFC. I truly believe that. I think one will be because they put on great fights. I haven't seen one boring one fight I can think of, but yeah, my goal is to be in one of those big pro promotions. The goal and the dream is always to be champion for one of those promotions one day. I mean, that's everyone's goal and that's everyone's dream. But I mean, my specific goal is to be one of the most fun fighters to watch, kind of like a Justin Gaethje type style. I want to be known as a fighter who puts on fun fights. People want to watch, people want to pay for it, and people don't want to miss out. That's my goal, and just to fight as long as possible for me till my body just falls apart. I want to do it forever. I say forever, but you know, the body will fight against you. So I want to do this as long as I can and just have fun with it. But that's my main goal. Is just be one of the most dangerous fighters to step in that octagon, if it's the UFC or in that cage.
And one of these guys, the guys that always putting a war, it's like right now Michael Chandler, because in Bellator he had a little bit different style, but when he goes to the UFC, he got a great fight with Gaethje, great fight with Poirier. So Chandler is right now, I think, the guy who that all people know that when he's fighting, there gonna be a war, a real battle.
Yeah, Chandler, I love Chandler. I love Gaethje, Chandler, and Poirier. That, even though I said the bantamweight division's the most competitive, the most fun division to watch is the lightweight division in the UFC. Those guys are animals, and they all have a similar style into the to where like you're not gonna want to miss one of their fights, and they're just violent. Those three guys are the meanest dogs in that division. They are the least domesticated, I should say. They're animals. Especially, I think Gaethje's he just fought Fiziev and he looked really good, really technical. But what won him that fight was he has the bigger dog inside of him. Fiziev is definitely a better striker in my opinion, but Gaethje has the bigger and better dog, and he ain't afraid to get down and dirty. So any one of those guys, they're so fun to watch. I love watching those guys.
Yes, and Gaethje's fight with Poirier, with Michael Johnson, with Chandler, with Eddie Alvarez. So he has so many great fights that people will remember for a long time.
Exactly. I love watching those guys.
And what motivates you to train? Because you wrestle for many years. Right now, you are an MMA fighter. So please tell me what is like biggest motivation for you?
Oh, I would say biggest motivation for me is I just love it. I just love training. I love competing. I think back when I wrestled, I wouldn't say I loved competing. I love training. But now that wrestling is all said and done with, and I really realized that I love competing. You know, I love just giving my all. Um, Not having any regrets when I leave out of that cage. Um, yeah, it just helps. That helps my motivation. I love the sport. I love doing what I do. I love training and having kind of like the mental telling myself I don't have to do this. Like I don't have to do MMA. I got a good college degree. I could get some, half-ass job at anywhere and make 5 to 10 times the amount of money in 3 years than I'll ever make in MMA. But I love it so much, and I get the opportunity to do it, and that's the main thing. I get to do it. I don't have to do it. So it's the love for it that keeps me motivated.
And how do you deal with the stress before your fights or even the wrestling matches?
I think I've gotten better over the years with stress. I wouldn't say I ever really got stressed in wrestling. I mean, yeah, you get nervous, but especially now, I don't really get stressed. Especially when I hear that I have a fight scheduled. To me, there's no reason to be stressed. You know, that fight's gonna be on that day. Don't be there ain't good. It's coming. There ain't nothing to be stressed about. Don't let the stress take all the energy out of you. And plus, I know I don't have all the time in the world to do this. I know one day this is all going to be said and done. And so why stress about it? It's all about having fun with it and giving your all and just seeing what happens. I don't worry about wins or losses. When I wrestled, I'd say I used to. But now, since, like I was just saying, I get to do this, I'm just trying to have fun with it. I'm just trying to be the best I can be the best version as a fighter I can be on that day, and try to take the guy's head off. And 9 times out of 10, if you're trying to take the guy's head off and worry about what you're doing, you're going to win. So I don't worry about the result. I just try to have fun with it, and ain't no reason to stress about it, in my opinion.
And last question about MMA. Maybe it's not strictly about MMA, but it's MMA related. The Nate Diaz will fight Jake Paul in boxing. So
Yeah.
what do you think about this bout?
That's definitely just 2 big names type bout. I think it's people hate on Jake Paul. I mean, yeah, he's that annoying YouTuber type, social media type star, but if you took away the YouTube stuff, and if he was never like this social media clout guy, and if he was just a boxer, people would have so much more respect for him. It's because of the YouTube stuff and all that social media shit is why people hate him. And people hate him because he came, he didn't do boxing his whole life. He just naturally has power, has heavy hands, has been knocking out these retired UFC guys. And so that's why people hate on him. And yeah, he says some stupid shit, but if he was just a straight boxer and he didn't have that YouTube, didn't have any and that social media clout to him, people would respect him so much more. I respect him as a fighter. I think he's going to beat Nate Diaz. I love Nate Diaz too, but I mean, I don't see how Nate Diaz wins that. This is if it was MMA, Nate Diaz all day takes that, but this is boxing. Jake Paul, he's a boxer. He's good, and he's a good boxer for only doing it for I don't know how long, like probably about 5 years now. He's been doing it, and he has that natural power. Nate Diaz doesn't have, in my opinion, that power compared to Jake Paul. So I think Jake Paul takes that fight, and I think it's a fun fight to watch. But I know that Nate Diaz probably isn't gonna get knocked out. That guy, it takes a sledgehammer to knock that guy out. That's crazy. That guy's chin is insane. So it's gonna be a fun fight.
I think that Nate Diaz need to use his cardio and volume to pressure him, and I think that in the later part of the fight he can win it. But I also didn't like Jake Paul at first when he go to the war with MMA fighters, but after defeating guys like Tyron Woodley or Anderson Silva, even if they are not boxers, they are still great fighters. And Anderson Silva got a win against Chavez Jr. So it's overall it's a big win.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you just said it, Anderson Silva beat Julio Chavez Jr. And when that happened, I was like, damn, Anderson Silva's really good as a boxer, because Julio Chavez Jr., I mean, his dad's probably one of the best Mexican fighters ever. And he himself is a world champ. And so when Jake Paul had that matchup with Anderson Silva and Jake Paul won that fight, that's impressive. You know, given what Anderson Silva had done in like the 3 or 4 fights he did in boxing after he got out of the UFC. And so I respect Jake Paul as a fighter. He's a great boxer. But like you had said, I forgot about Nate Diaz's insane cardio. I don't know how many rounds that fight is, but yeah, maybe if it goes to the later rounds, maybe Nate Diaz catches him or starts just using his volume and gets Jake Paul tired, because Jake Paul does get pretty tired in those later rounds.
And outside of the sport, what do you like to do in your free time?
Oh, my free time? Shit, I'm a pretty boring guy. I'm a big movie watcher. I like watching shows. I like sleeping a lot. I mean, you ask my mom and dad, on my off days, I love sleeping. So Sundays are my main off days. I'm a foodie. I love eating. I love finding different foods to eat. I would say I like hunting and fishing with my dad. We haven't fished in a while, ever since we got rid of the bass boat he had. But we just went turkey hunting yesterday. Got me a turkey, and so that was fun. But I do like hunting, and yeah, overall, I'm a pretty boring person, so it doesn't take much for me to be entertained.
And do you have a bucket list? The list that the things that you would like to do or accomplished in your life?
All the things I would like to accomplish in my life are basically all fight related, you know, and we had just talked about that. So I need to find me, and I've been telling myself this for about a year now. I need to find me a good hobby where I want to make new goals out of that, rather than just, be known as a fighter. I want more hobbies. I need to give myself more hobbies. So it's just not me being a fighter and having to, like I said, I don't worry about it. The fighting, I love it, but if I had a good hobby, it'd be a good break,
So Hunter, I hope that you will fight a few times in this year, maybe for CFFC. And next year, I hope that we will be able to watch you in some bigger organization.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, hopefully get a fight here soon. Like I said, definitely May time frame. If not May, June, definitely this summer, I'll have a fight for sure. But I want back-to-back fights. As long as my body stays healthy in one piece, back-to-back fights helps me stay in shape. And yeah, the goal is always to get in one of those big promotions. And so I appreciate it.
Okay, so thank you for this conversation and good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.